Why do we wait for bad things to happen to make a change? When everything's going right, you don't think much about how you can improve, how you can change, because, well, everything's going fine, everything's going according to plan. When your business is making the amount of money you planned, then, well, everything's fine. I don't need to change anything. I just need to double down on what I'm doing and just keep scaling. Maybe I don't need to take care of my health because I'm making money. I don't need to take care of family relationships because I'm making money. I don't need to spend so much time in prayer with God or doing my devotionals if you believe in God, because, well, my business is doing fine and my life is looking pretty good overall. And then we have to wait for a bad thing to happen. We have to wait for something to actually go wrong in order to make a change. We have to wait for things to start going sideways to make changes. And I think we need to fix that urgently, as people, first of all, but also as business owners. Why do we have to wait for bad things to happen to start making a change or to start being more proactive? Let's take the health case, for example. And most business owners, most entrepreneurs that play the game for a long time, there are a lot of them which will tell you that they didn't focus so much on their health when they began to do business. They were just focused on hustling, on making money, and on making the business work simply. And because of that, they didn't focus so much time on their health and actually taking care of their bodies. And they just solely focused on business. And then 5-10 years later, they now have back problems, tons of headaches, and maybe some acute diseases or maybe some chronic diseases because they didn't take care of their bodies. Even though you have to do the hustle, you have to focus on your business, especially when you're starting out. You cannot turn your back from your health, for example. Your health should always be a priority. Why do you want to have millions of dollars in your bank account where you cannot even walk properly, where you cannot get out of bed, where you can play what you want to play, when you can do anything of what you want to do because you didn't take care of your health as you should have? And there's a lot of stories like that from entrepreneurs. I think if you search up on YouTube entrepreneurs that have had health problems and later regret not taking care of their health as they should have when they were just basically in the trenches, you'll find a lot of cases. But there's also a lot of cases in business as well where we have to wait for things to go sideways to make changes. So if my product is doing well, if my sales are right, then my product is well, and I am now proactive on seeing how I can improve my product or service. And that mindset will leave you behind, way behind, from the people who are actually proactive and focus on how they can make their product or their service better even while it's doing good. Because your competitors are also moving up. If you're, for example, leading your industry right now in a specific area, your competitors will be looking to reach you and go higher than you in that specific area because, well, your customers like it and the space is looking for it. And if you're not proactive, your competitors are going to go right past you and you're going to start going second, third place, fourth place, and now you're not leading the industry anymore. You're now in a place where you should have been, and where you wouldn't be if you would be proactive on improving or developing new solutions or new features for your products. If you see, for example, Amazon didn't just stay where it was with its service. It launched new things like AWS, for example, always improving and always seeing how they can make their product and the brand as good as possible, how they can dominate the game as good as possible. Someone who is proactive is someone who's focused on dominating the industry. And the greatest entrepreneurs of all time all dominated their industry. Steve Jobs completely dominated the industry. Henry Ford dominated the industry. Elon Musk, for example, he dominates the industry because they're always proactive. They're never satisfied with their product. They know it can be better. They know it can be cheaper. So you don't have to wait for your business to take a strong hit on sales to start making new features for your product or start developing more solutions to your service. You don't have to wait for bad things to happen. If you wait for bad things to happen, you'll take a great hit, and then you'll take some time recovering and then going back in the growth effect. in the compound growth effect. But if you decide to be proactive and actually develop more solutions or more features to your products or service, you will actually have a compound growth effect that's going to be huge compared to your competitors. Not only because you may be doing well right now, but because you're investing in long-term growth by being proactive and planning for the future, so that in the future your product can be making way more money with the things you're planning on doing right now and with the improvements you're doing right now to your product or service. The compound growth effect is going to be huge. And that's one of the reasons why I always focus and that I always talk in my videos about long-term growth and proactiveness, because these two go hand in hand. If you're proactive, you're planning for the future ahead. And if you're long-term focused, well, you have a vision that's in the road ahead. So neither in business nor in your personal life should we wait for bad things to happen to start taking action. If you think, for example, someone you knew who was maybe far from God, who didn't know God, and then something very, very, very tragic happened on their life, and they went to God, they met God, they were able to be with Him and to have a glimpse of His immense love for him or for her. Then you basically saw a great example of we waiting for bad things to happen to make a change. And that is also something that entrepreneurs that believe in God are mainly responsible, especially in their devotional time, in their intimate time with God, talking with Him and being in prayer and just reading the Bible. When the business is going fine, then I'm not spending so much time on devotionals, I'm not praying so much because, well, life is fine. And then you have to wait for something to actually go wrong so you can run back to God and tell Him, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't spend the time I should have with you. I now need you because I'm going through a tough time. And of course, God loves you and He's going to help you. But there's no real connection in that. If you have to wait for something bad to happen in your personal life or in your business life to go back to God and to be close to Him, then you're not having a real connection and a real relationship with Him. It's like a friend who only calls you when they're in desperate need. They don't call you when they're fine. They don't call you when they're happy. They don't call you to hang out. They don't call you for anything. They only call you when they're doing extremely bad in desperate situations. And you may help them out, of course, but you know there's not a real friend in that, because he only looks for you when he needs help, but not much. And I want to keep this video short and punchy, combining these two lessons. Being proactive in business and not waiting for bad things to happen to start developing more solutions or more features or making improvements to our products or services to create a huge long-term impact and a huge long-term growth in the compound effect. And also in our personal lives, not waiting for bad things to happen to make changes, to start eating healthy, to start doing more exercise, to get closer with God. We don't have to wait in neither of these two for bad things to happen in order to make changes and in order to make improvements. Stop waiting for bad things to happen to make improvements. And I repeat on this because most of us have gone through this, having to go through a very tough situation to make a change in either business or personal life. And why do I also connect these two? Because lots of times, even though you may not realize it, you don't have business problems. You have personal problems that are being shown in your business. You have personal problems, you have maybe health problems or anxiety problems that are showing up in your business as well. Maybe you're not able to sell because you're not completely focused. Maybe you're not able to record videos as good as you want to because you're too stressed on a problem you have in your personal life, or maybe you have fears and things you haven't worked on because maybe you have insecurity problems or you had in the past and they're coming right back to bite you. And then you're having personal problems that are showing themselves in your business. So always a business owner has to analyze their inner self as well when doing business, not only in their personal in their personal life, but when doing business, you have to analyze yourself and see which personal problems or which fears or which traumas of my past are showing up in my business. That's why I really like to connect these two. And don't wait for a personal problem to happen that's going to demonstrate in your business, because that's something that could happen as well. I told you not to wait for bad things to happen to make changes in your business life and in your personal life. But if you don't make changes in your personal life, those problems may compound and go into your business as well, or even the other way. Because you were not proactive in your business, a problem showed up, and that problem is also compounding to your personal life. Because, of course, we're people. They go hand in hand. If our business isn't going well, then we're going to be more stressed. And if we're more stressed, then we're likely going to get sick. And if we get sick, then we can work on our businesses. And it's this continual loop. So take care of your personal life. Take care of your business life. Be proactive with your personal life, with your health, with your sleep, with your relationships, and be proactive with your business. Improve your products, improve your solutions. Don't wait for bad things to happen. Start learning about AI. Start learning about how you can implement AI agents or other types of AI to your marketing, for example, or your advertising. Start preparing for the future. There are great things to come. And we're in a great time to be alive, especially to do business. And God placed us in this exact time so we could do business in this amazing era. So, don't forget, personal problems can show up in your business. Business problems can compound to your personal life and create a dangerous loop. And don't wait. Be proactive in your business. Be proactive in your personal life. Solve those problems. Speak with those people you need to speak to. Have that tough conversation you need to have. Spend more time developing your products, and you'll see how this will help you be a better entrepreneur and a better person as well. Now, lastly, I wanted to include a little pitch right here. So if you're not interested in any marketing, advertising, or AI services, you can just click off the video. Thank you for watching. If you're interested, I have an agency which helps believer entrepreneurs scale their businesses to the next level using advertising and AI and combining those two to have amazing results. So if you're interested in that, click the link in my YouTube bio. I think I'll leave it down here in the description as well. So you can book a call with me one-on-one and you can see if we are the right fit. Apart from that, that's all for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.